there. Welcome to another California Guy video with your boy California Guy. What's up, everybody, and welcome to this video of entitled White Supremacy United States, Global White Supremacy Dominating the United States. Now, there's been a lot of events going on over the last few months pertaining to black people and white relations. I ever did a video in a minute covering each topic because I've been out. But I'm going to talk about that in further videos. But right now, I got to get to the topic of discussion because this is going to be a rant and some facts to break down for brothers and sisters to look at. Now, first of all, shout out to the black brothers and sisters that's calling out white supremacy uh, on social media and on the news. Shout out to them of calling out the coon. Shout out to like Tariq Nasheed and other ones who have called out white supremacy. Shout out to the one named LA for flaming these coons. Shout out to Dr. Umar, Dr. Boyce, and other blacks who have called out um, white supremacy. Now, I'm about to call it out in this video because I figured that the job ain't done. Now, over the last few months, you've had a range of police shootings. And they've been shooting unarmed black men and women, gunning us down in the streets as if we lived in 1964. Everywhere you go in the United States, police are gunning us down. The answer, when we respond back to the police shootings, it ends up being excuses. It ends up being that black people shouldn't be too mad. The mainstream media puts up our backgrounds, brothers and sisters that's been killed. They put up jail records and all this bullshit about what black people have done in their past to justify white police officers shooting up black men, which leads to a global white supremacy. And a lot of black people do not believe that white supremacy exists, but it does. Example, you had protests a couple of weeks ago, a couple of months ago, a month or two ago, all over the United States over different shootings in Baton Rouge and other spots. You had these protests, and so as the protests went on, black police officers were already getting upset. This has been the making. Police union has been very mad because they figure the communities do not get along together, black community and the police community, which police officers have been killing black people for decades. This really ain't nothing new. But in the last few years, the police have made themselves become victims. So, like a long story short, the media has bashed Black Lives Matter. Now, I'm not a Black Lives Matter member. I'm not a member of the Black Lives Matter group or nothing like that, but I support their ideals. And they basically use the Black Lives Matters as a way to trash the black agenda when it comes to police officers. That's what the white media, white supremacy media has done. Now, you had the shooting recently of the cops. Cops been getting gunned down. But you had a surge of black people come out and all of a sudden want to sit with police officers and have tea and lunch and crumpets and as how we can work together. Now, I've been seeing black community and police work together for decades when it comes to drugs. Because a lot of people are not going to get you guys this real stuff that I'm telling you and other pro blacks. I lived in the hood. I grew up in the hood. I grew up in the ghetto. I grew up in hoods. I've lived in hoods as a grown up. Lived in regular neighborhoods also. Lived in both. So I've got to see both sides of the fence. I've lived in white community also. I've lived in all white community. I lived in diverse communities. And I've lived in all black communities where it's ghetto to the toe. You know, with drugs and all the shit. I grew up in it as a little kid also. So, as the time that I grew up in the 80s and 90s, and even being an adult, I've seen black churches work with the police department to eradicate drugs out of their communities. Now, that's a different story. What I'm about to say, that's another video, so I don't need people to make comments and try to talk about the drug game and gang members and all that, because that's another video for another time. But black people have worked with the communities. Black people have went to city council, churches and neighbors and citizens went to the now they got scared of the black gangs and drug dealers in the community, but black people have worked together with the police department. But today, coons and white supremacists want you to believe that black people in the police department do not get along together. And that's complete lies. That the mainstream media want you to believe that black people and the police don't get along, and then they want you to believe that anytime somebody else speaks for black people, supposedly, that they also are enraging black people that they're mindless sheep. No, it's not that black people are we are mindless sheep. We're tired of getting gunned down. We're tired of losing our sons and daughters to police bullets, racist police officers that disguise themselves, fake police officers disguise themselves as cops. But then you have black people on black YouTube, black social media that refuse to acknowledge that white supremacy exists in the United States. It exists. White supremacy, you are controlled by white people. They control your destiny. They control where you work at, where you live at. They control all of that. If any of you black people believe in that American dream shit, then you're a fool for that, indeed, because there is no American dream. Even when it comes to politics, even though I encourage black people to vote, but we don't vote in mass numbers, so we get kind of taken advantage of. But African American people do not understand about the control in the grip of white supremacy, because they've managed to brainwash black churches and a segment of black people into buying into the farce that police officers are victims, when it's been proven time and time again that police officers get killed by whites and sometimes they have accidents, whatever. But white supremacy is alive and well. The sister that was killed, Gaines, they just gunned her down and shot a little boy. Now I know the Coons have excuses. Then you have Milwaukee of Black Lives on Fire, because we're tired of being second class citizens in our country. We're tired of getting gunned down in our country. We're tired of not making the same amount of money as white people. We do a lot of hard work only to be shot back down. We're tired of being in plantations in the United States, modern day plantations, where they place us in these ghettos. They place my people into ghettos, and then the whites get to live in good areas, and other nationalities where they're living in kumbaya, while blacks is being in ghettos and drugs and projects and all that shit there. That's a plantation. But we do have to get out of the plantation mentality by trying to escape the plantation. We need to vote. We need to push for an agenda and not bullshit. We need to fight against these police. I don't mean fight with weapons, but we need to fight in ballot boxes. We need to go to our city councilmen. We need to protest to governors and all these different things. And we need to shut out the coons when they do something. We need to support our own agenda as black people. So I thought to do this video, people. I am back on Black YouTube again. I've been away. Shout out again to the black folks out there all over the world in America. Peace out.